one of the ways I try to explain this to my patients is I say, there's more than one way to address a health problem. We're pretty much used to our way, which is going to the doctor. But there's another way. And, if you had lived 100 years ago, or if you lived in another part of the world, you might not have a doctor, right? They don't really have them. 100 years ago, depending on where you lived. And so what would you do? You would ask grandma, right? There's this idea of granny's medicine. Grandma had stuff that was good. And if you live in a traditional society, or even in America 100 years ago, chances are grandma lived with you, right? We don't have grandma living with us now. But back then, we had this concept of this extended family where the wisdom of the past was sort of transmitted by the elders. And so I usually say, let's take a stomach ache as a good example, right? Oh, everyone's had a stomach ache. So every morning you're waking up and your stomach's just killing you. Oh. And so Granny comes out, and she says, what's the matter? It's like, my stomach hurts. Oh. So she says, oh, wait here, I got this thing. So she goes out back and she gets you her little herbs, right? And depending on where you live, it's different. They don't have the same remedies everywhere in the world, but there's a lot of different ones out there that exist. So whether it was hyssop or chamomile or mint or whatever, Granny gets you her tea and she makes you her stuff, and do I have to drink? You have to drink it, but you drink it and you feel better. Wow. Great. This is kind of what I like to, it's sort of the image I like to give of traditional medicine, right? It's cheap, it's safe, it works. And so if acupuncture can work that way, where somehow I give you the needles and it makes your problem go away, that's the best we can hope for. Because we kind of know what happens if you do the other approach, right? When you got a stomach ache, you don't go to the doctor. Or you don't go right away, because you know what's going to happen. You're going to have a ton of tests. He might give you some medicine for it might help. But he's going to have to find out why. He's going to do all these tests, right? He's going to put a thing down and try to look down there. Maybe the other one, too. And so you got all these tests and things. And each approach definitely has positive and negative attributes. In other words, going to the doctor means all the tests and all the expense and the medicines and stuff. Going to Granny has risks too. Now, if the doctor scopes you and he sees some big tumor in your stomach, then, that was important that he saw that. And Granny didn't see the tumor, right? So Granny might have killed you. And yet, people don't have stomach aches with tumors. Right? Everyone has a stomach ache, but nobody has a tumor in there. And so Granny's approach is almost always better, if it works, right? But we don't necessarily have Granny, so we're kind of stuck. Well, there's a third approach. It's sort of like, instead of going to the doctor, instead of having Granny give you her magic tea, you actually don't want to tell Grandma what's wrong, because Granny can be wonderful, she can be a lifesaver, but she can be a pain too. She's interfering in your life and telling you how to live. So, like, you're sitting there, your stomach's killing you, and Granny's like, what's the matter? What's the matter? Like, finally, my stomach hurts again, okay? Well, she says, well, I saw you eating pizza all last night. You drank a 6-pack of beer. What do you expect? Your stomach hurts. Of course it hurts. You can't do that, right? You're like, I know. So Grandma tells you, stop eating pizza and drinking beer, and your stomach's going to be okay. And guess what? It works. Great. A lot of times that's the problem. People tend to do things that harm themselves. We tend to live a lifestyle that's out of balance. It harms the ability of our body to respond. Now, we have an immune system. We can sort of overcome most things, but if you keep doing something harmful again and again and again, it catches up. It can catch up to you. It can mess you up. And so sometimes, for my patients, having them stop doing something they were doing is the most effective treatment of all.